Hi all, I've put a new member collections page on the community menu of chessbowl.net very recently, and it makes it very easy to see all the interesting, exciting and instructive games which members have put into their own collections. And I found a game by Teo Monas, who's a frequent forum contributor, and I've had many debates with Teo over the years. This is one of his more interesting games. So he's around 1700 rating. Let's have a look. His nickname, by the way, I did a bit of research. Apparently, it's there is something to it. It's spirits of ancient inhabitants believed to haunt the mountains and wild places of the Mariana Islands, which include Luta, Saipan, Tinian, and Guam in Micronesia. So I didn't know that actually, so that was already a perk for benefiting from video annotating this, doing the preparation as if we're looking at a Series Master game. So E4 from Teo, very aggressive, and super aggressive in the Romantic era, the King's Gambit. Now black declines, which is a frequent occurrence at lower levels, just to decline the gambit, not to receive the wrath of it. D4 is played here. In Chess-Based Live Book, usually knight c3 actually, but d4 crops up a bit later here, maybe waiting for black to commit the knight to d7. That's thought to be about equal. D4 here, E takes f4, knight f3, a6, bishop takes f4. White already seems to have a very comfortable position, and black is putting these ear pawns out on both sides, waiting, listening with a keen ear on both sides for what white's going to do next. E5, D5, knight c3, c6. The queen wants to make an excursion, it seems. Bishop d3, bishop b4, white just castles. Bishop a5, sneaking the bishop on a5. And in correspondence style chess, when you come back to the position several days later, maybe it's a bit longer to, if the bishop's here, its influence might be more subtle than if it's on b4. So imagine like each move might be like the day later. Knight a4, b5, the knight goes into c5, bishop g4, and Teo maybe he woke up too early, didn't have his coffee that morning, and white's plan and blunder quite horrifically. But there's a nice idea behind the blunder if it wasn't exploited. Can you guess what white plays here? It's understandable. Okay. Teo plays queen e1. Now there's a slight snag to it. The upside is queen g3. It's got a beautiful, attractive upside which we're all lulled into sometimes when we play our moves. But there's a slight weakness to the last move. It's this bishop actually. It was tucked on a5. It takes. Now Teo could resign here, but he plays on a bit. He takes. Black takes on f3. Rook takes. And now the queen comes out. Now Teo is aware now of this danger of the e1 square in relation to a5. And actually on this occasion protects the rooks. And actually the pieces are quite well coordinated. There's no bad pieces here. And the black king hasn't yet castled. Knight e7. And we see knight b7. And the first sign of trouble here, maybe for black. Queen takes a2. And now e6, and a very scary idea of taking and then taking the knight. Black played f6, so just shutting down the e-file is at the end of the story. Now, another very, very interesting move now. Bishop g6 check. And we have that snapped off. Black could have played this and accepted the pin, but maybe didn't want this horrible looking pin. So just snapped it off. Now check, so black has forfeited now castling rights. King e7, knight f5 check. King e8, knight takes g7 check. King e7. And check again. King d8 now. The king's trying to make a run for it. e7 check. And now, if the black king moves, there's maybe e8 queening. So black took this, but now we have rook takes e7. And in fact, the pieces do seem remarkably coordinated. And it's black's time to blunder now. Black actually played queen takes b2 here. Black should have considered knight d7, but played queen takes b2. Now, there's actually a forced checkmate here. I wonder if you can spot it if I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, bishop c7 check is played, forcing king c8, and now the quite elegant knight d6 check and mate, stopping the king from going to b7. So there's always hope. You play an attractive move. I think there's a few lessons here. Human emotion comes into a lot of our moves, and also forgetfulness, especially if we're playing a correspondence game site on a site like chessbowl.net. You have to remember what happened before, and long distance threats or squares covered. You need to make sure you use the analysis board a lot and not just play on what seems just the upsides. But yeah, after blundering the queen, though, it seems the complacency factor stepped into the opponent, and what went up for white was the piece coordination. And Taylor, to his credit, stopped black from castling and maximised his chances of breaking through in spectacular style, the rooks in their start squares. So I thought that was a little bit of entertainment from what I've seen from the new collections facility, which you might want to check out for some other very exciting, interesting, entertaining games. On the community menu of chessbowl.net, there's a new collections thing right underneath annotated games. So I picked this up from there, and I think it has got elements of psychology we should all be aware of when playing our games online. Okay, comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks very much.